Hello, YouTube world. This is my first video, so please bear with me if it's a little awkward. I wanted to make this video to help others who were trying to conceive and or had a colposcopy and were wanting to get pregnant and or had a LEEP and were still wanting to get pregnant because I went through them all. It was pretty stressful. But today we are 7 weeks pregnant, and we had tried for over a year, really trying for about 4 months. We started having unprotected sex about June 2011, and it was the month before we got married, but we really wanted to have a baby, and he was deploying in August, and we knew that it was going to take some time. It usually does. But we got married in July. He deployed in August, and we didn't get pregnant, and it's kind of hard to get pregnant when your husband's not here. So we started trying again in March 2012, but prior to that, in the end of December, beginning of January 2012, I had an abnormal pap smear. I ended up having HSG, or sorry, HPV, which really sucked, but is apparently common. So with our insurance, you had to have a referral for everything. So I went to the doctor on base, and she gave me a referral for an OBGYN in my area, and she performed a colposcopy on me, and it wasn't that bad. It really was hardly any cramps and hardly any bleeding when it happened, but I was having some complications with the colposcopy in that it was a month old. Like, I had the colposcopy a month prior, and I was at the gym. I do CrossFit, and I was sprinting, and after I would sprint, it was like it was bleeding really hard. I'm like, oh my God, that's weird. That's not normal. And so I called her the next day, and she's like, oh, that's normal, but come in for a doctor's appointment, blah, blah, blah. So I did, and she looked in there and said it looked fine. And I didn't think that it was fine. I don't think that it should be normal to run and have you bleed even harder. And so she was really kind of obnoxious and was like, you know what, if you don't like my opinion, go somewhere else and get another one. So I did, and before I went to the doctor, I had to get another referral from my doctor on base, and she looked in there and was like, oh my God, this looks like a fresh colposcopy, like you just had it done, and it was over a month old. And so I went to the new doctor, and he needed to perform his own colposcopy, so I was poked and prodded again, and then he's like, I'm going to perform a LEEP on you. And the LEEP wasn't that bad. Obviously, it wasn't fantastic. Sorry, that's my dog. And then my cat. Gather. Stop. And so he performed the LEEP, and it wasn't that bad. I barely had any cramps. I barely had any bleeding afterwards. But then about 10 days after, I started bleeding profusely. I was like, oh my God, I need a hysterectomy. There's something wrong. And my husband wasn't there. He was away on a work trip. And so I was alone by myself, and then I was crying, and then I was like, oh, my husband's gonna divorce me. He's not going because I can't have children. And even though we had that conversation prior, and he's so good to me, and he's just like, you know what, it's an awesome idea to have a child with you, but I didn't marry that idea. I married you, Sophie. Yeah. And so, but anyways, I ended up being fine. I did some research on the internet, and the doctor on call said that it was normal where the LEEP was performed. And so I was fine. That was September 2012. And so we started trying to conceive again in October 2012, and we were on a mission. Like we started doing the ovulation predictor kits, the OPKs, and I wasn't very good with charting because I'm not a morning person, and so to remember to have to do that every morning before you get up, before you do anything, was just not something. It just wasn't something that was in my plans, and so we started doing the OPKs, and my cycle's kind of short. It's 26 days, but the doctor wasn't ever concerned with that. It's 26 days, and so I thought, oh, middle of my cycle, I ovulate on the 13th day. I ended up finding out that I ovulate on the 10th, 11th day, and so that was kind of cool to find out. So totally test to see when you ovulate. I just use the regular Walmart brand tests, and they work just fine. And then my husband, where did they go? My husband started taking these vitamins, and he found them on Amazon, and they are called, and he was really looking for something all natural. We're both all into all that kind of stuff, just kind of, so we didn't have more junk in our systems. And this count boost, like I said, he found them on Amazon. I think they came together, and they were kind of expensive, but we really wanted this. And we also started using the Pure Seed lubricant, but we weren't very good with using that in the heat of the moment. So we used it most of the time when I was ovulating, either before or after, usually after. And this is what it looks like. You can find it at Target, CVS. I bought this one at CVS, but I've seen it at Target. It's cheaper at Target, I believe. It's kind of expensive too. It's $20 or $22 for a tube. And I'll get to the end. I'll talk about that afterwards, but I'm not sure that this helped get us pregnant. But my friend, my teacher friend, the month that her and her husband used it, because they had been trying for 9 months, they got pregnant the month that they started using that. So it's worth a try. But anyways, so I had the LEEP done. We were on a mission, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, we tried September, October, and November I went to the fertility doctor, and I just thought that we needed, I was just so tired of seeing the negative, like either, I didn't test very often. I was just so tired of, being disappointed every month. And so then we went to the fertility doctor, and he confirmed that I do ovulate on the 11th day, and he did a few tests. And I had already done a few tests through my doctor, my regular doctor, and there was nothing wrong with me hormonally. And so my husband went to get tested, and there is nothing wrong with him either. His count, the volume was a little low, but the count was high. And they said they were vigorous swimmers. So then there's nothing wrong with me hormonally. There was nothing wrong with my husband, and so the doctor suggested an HSG. And before I went to the fertility doctor, I did some research online, and like what's going to happen at the fertility doctor, like what do they do. And so they also did an ultrasound of my ovaries, and it was really cute because you get to kind of see your future children, because you saw the little eggs in your ovaries, and they were full, and it was so cool. It was really exciting to see that. I think it was a little sad for my husband, just because he's like, oh, it's me, there's something wrong with me, but there wasn't. But anyways, so I knew that the HSG conversation was going to come up, and it was a controversy online about whether it's necessary or not. And so I asked him, is the HSG really necessary? And he's like, yes, I find it necessary because it tests your fallopian tubes to make sure that they're flowing. Everything's flowing okay, because I guess you can be blocked in there. he said, I know there's a controversy. He said it. He came on. I know there's a controversy online, whether it's necessary or not, and that it hurts, blah blah blah. But this is my own opinion, not his. But really, ladies, we want to get pregnant. We want to have 9 months of morning sickness and getting big and uncomfortable, and then you have to push a 6, 7, 8, 9 pound baby through you. It wasn't that long. It wasn't that painful, and whatever pain I was in was 2 minutes while they did it. They insert a catheter in you, in your cervix, and then at the end of the catheter is a little balloon, and the balloon has dye in it. And while when they open the balloon, the dye is pushed through your fallopian tubes, and they take pictures. And so there is all the fallopian tubes they were removing and all that fun stuff. So that was really exciting. And right before I had the HSG done, the doctor said this can also help in pregnancy because it like flushes you out, and so that happened on January 7th. I ovulated on the 11th, and that's the month that we got pregnant. I mean, it could be a combination of the lube. It could be a combination of the vitamins that my husband was taking. And mind you that just like any healthy regimen, it takes, 2-3 months for vitamins and stuff to properly fully work to their best potential. It could be the HSG, it could be the positions, etc. But I believe it was the HSG because we had been trying those things prior and they weren't working. And I believe because of, all the bacteria and stuff that from the HPV and the LEEP and the colposcopies, like there's just bacteria in there and it won't let his little soldiers through, and so it flushed me out. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for the HSG, and I'll talk about the positions we used. Nothing specific, any and all of them, but the one common factor was we finished on top with him on top. So it was always deposited like that. So there was nothing specific in that. Once we found out there was nothing wrong with us, it was just like, okay, it's just taking some time, and it was just kind of like calming, and I believe that helped too. So I know people say when you're trying, oh, just relax, just calm down, it'll happen when it happens, but you want it so bad, and it's all you think about. But I can say this now that I'm pregnant, to just calm down and take it easy and just know that everything's going to work out the way that it's supposed to. Just take it easy and have fun. Don't make it like clockwork. I guess I would suggest every other day in it. But anyways, I would suggest doing that as well. Maybe try some other things like the lube and maybe some vitamins, and just talk and communicate and figure out a plan. All right, thanks for getting through my first video. I hope that I helped someone. If anyone has any questions or comments, leave them on the bottom. That'd be pretty exciting. All right, talk to you later.